Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic week of Backmarkers Truck Racing here in the SLiDESIGNS Truck Series. Tonight we are coming to you live from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for the Tim Hortons Maple Dip 150. Get you them Timbits. You love a little Tim Hortons in your life, for sure. Let's see here. A little feedback audio, that was fun. If you're not familiar, Tim Hortons is proud to be Canada's largest restaurant chain, serving over 5 million cups of coffee every day. More than a coffee and bake shop, Tim Hortons is part of the fabric of Canada and is a proud symbol of Canada and its values. If you're in the north, go head up there, take a look at Tim Hortons. I know last time I was in Jersey they had them, and boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, Timbits all day. And if you're here on the Backmarkers YouTube channel, that means that you should be going down below here. I give you this spiel every week. Come on, you should be used to it. And I need you guys to go ahead and hit that like button. Also, please be lively in that comment section. We love to talk to you guys throughout the race, see what you're saying, see who you're rooting for. And if you're watching this VOD back later, please make sure to comment down below. Already, we're seeing Nathan Gentry, Adam Boyles. Thank you guys so much. And as we see here, I also would like very much, if you could please, if you haven't already, we just breached 100 subscribers on this channel. Everybody a round of applause, big moment. We would like to keep that number growing, so if you are not already subscribed and you enjoy these weekly races, the week full of racing that we have on this channel, please make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified every time we go live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. As we said, this is the Tim Hortons Maple Dip 150 here in the SLiDESIGNS Truck Series. We are gridded up and getting ready to go, and you can see there the current order for qualifying has occurred, and we are just getting ready to go to the race. You know, there can be some exciting things during qualifying sometimes, but it's a bit of a road course. We have a little bit of a smaller field tonight. So we figured we'd just get right to the action with it, not keep you guys all on your toes about everything else. So let's see here. As always, tonight I am your mostly sick head commentator, Rain Braun, and thankfully being supported here tonight by ARCA driver Anthony Cangelosi. Anthony, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I really appreciate you stepping up to the booth tonight. We had a couple of guys to Mr. Tyler to Talent. Sorry to Talent section. You will be missing out on some Tyler to Talent action here tonight. Will Harville, thanks so much for tuning in. No, we were just kind of quiet for a minute. I am currently still getting over a battle of bronchitis, so that's why I need the definite support of my friend Anthony here as the pace car dives off. And we are about to go green right now here at the Tim Hortons Maple Dip 150. And there it goes. And just like that, we are already off here. Dustin Bally and Jonathan Cofield, two veterans here. And especially Dustin Bally being a road course hero, as we've seen him be really, really capable. But Jonathan Cofield, also a road course winner here in Backmarkers Racing League, already off to a good start. Jonathan's teammate, Payday Racing, Evan Pienta, pulling up just behind him, followed by Sam Stoner of Dumpster Fire Racing, and the 52 of Johnny Rapp of Payday. So it's a very Payday top-heavy top five there. And already we're seeing some battles starting to take shape here. They did a little bit at that first point, you know, as you do, you get stacked up in those corners, and immediately it's filing out into pretty much a straight line. There are going to be 38 laps here tonight, so there is a good bit of racing to go on, and there's going to be some strategy. We will have a competition caution thrown at lap 16, or going into lap 16, that is. So that everybody can stack up. So we're going to see a lot of interesting ways strategy could play out. Anthony, what are you most excited for tonight?
Oh man, just excited to see some good racing here. I mean, it's already seems to be going off pretty well. A couple cold tires. I've been going back and watching a couple of drivers. They look like they're sliding a little bit, but those tires are starting to warm up now. So that's kind of good there for them. Looked like there may have been like one little close call with Robert Ross around one of the turns, losing it, but he ended up, you know, not losing any position or anything.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually gained a position, and Sean Johnson has lost, so it's lost one. So, oh, we have a crash. Blake Hoppy. I'm getting a report here. I'm not sure what happened. He's got some damage to the right front, it looks like. Something interesting definitely happened to him. Wonder what happened there. No? I'm not seeing any damage. Maybe it was just an off track. You'll have to go back and give us
damage myself.
Go back and give us a quick report on that when you get a moment there. But he has fallen about 18 seconds behind leader.
He was coming around. I don't know what turn this is, but he hit one of the curbs and just kind of spun out.
Unfortunate. That's the cool thing is at least this is kind of early in the race. He still has a good chance to make some catch-up ground here, unless, of course, he does have to go in for a pit if he took any damage here. Hopefully he didn't, so that he can keep moving. But that's where the competition caution, at least, will kind of settle back in, so long as he doesn't keep losing time.
It looks like he's staying it back out on track. He didn't go on in the pit, so I think he's gonna... I think he's good. Doesn't seem to be any damage, so.
Awesome. Yeah, you don't want to see a competitor get taken out that early, especially like a really, really solid competitor like Blake Hoppy on that 23 machine. So we've already had our first spin of the day. Happened a lot sooner than I thought with these truck guys. they generally have a decent bit of control, but this track I've seen has thrown some curveballs at guys in practice. I was watching some guys really miss and blow turns that I've never seen them just completely blow like that. So, I mean, it's definitely got to be some inexperience probably of having not run. I was talking to a lot of drivers beforehand. A lot of them have said they have like almost no experience aside from some practice for this race actually coming to this track. So it's pretty fresh for a lot of people here.
Yeah, this track's pretty fresh myself. I've never seen any races on it before until, the few practice laps earlier.
Yeah, I believe you bought it just today, actually.
Yeah, I did.
And I have had it since the beginning of the season in preparation of broadcasting it, and I have not been on it. So this isn't a first exposure to seeing it in general, but I definitely have not turned laps here yet. So cannot speak so much for how the cars handle on here, but I was listening to a lot of chatter from some drivers earlier, especially in my Team Off the Wall Racing's chat, just a bit earlier, to kind of get a feel for how they were feeling they were going to do here tonight. That is Dustin Bawley and Steve Loving, and between what they were talking about, Dustin was just saying it's a lot of kind of living in second gear for a good portion of this race, and then bouncing it back up to third. Oh, Cofield gets really loose. He's going to send Evan Pienta by there. He's recovered, but he got turned right on the track there.
And I just missed that right before you said it, so...
Simultaneously, I have another report of Blake Hoppy, something happening in the back. He's losing more time back there, and I had another crash report. He might have hit the same incident there.
Oh yeah, it looks like it. Let me go back a little here. I don't know if it's that same turn or not.
Even if it isn't the same turn in that instance, something that's really important. It is.
It's that same turn. What happened? He came on the outside and his left rear tire just barely hit the grass there, and that caused him his rear end to come out on him.
The worst part is that if you make one mistake, right, touching that curb, that's something like, you think it's probably kind of minute, it might not do anything, but hitting it at just the right angle, at the wrong time, wrong place, all of that, it can end up being very, very, like, race damaging. But other people might be able to hit it just, a millimeter off and be fine. But once you hit that and you lose that time and you're falling 20, 25 seconds back like he was, you start to feel that pressure already of, okay, well, I need to step into it a little bit to close some gaps. Even if subconsciously you're doing it to try to make up some time and get back into a rhythm. And that might end up finding you making another mistake down the road just because you pushed it a little bit harder or a little differently than you would have if you were running a little more conservatively in the pack. And that's just, I think, the nature of racing. You feel that innate desire, like, I gotta catch up, I don't want to fall behind. So yeah, it's definitely not something you want to have happening to a guy early on in a race. So hopefully he can reset at the competition caution here if everything goes okay, and get himself back on track and get back into this thing.
Yeah, because as of right now, I'm showing he's about 40 seconds behind. Right before him, though, we have Brian Brobst at 20 seconds behind. I don't know if he had any kind of accidents himself or if he's just running a little slow right now, just to kind of maintain a pace and that tire wear.
I didn't have any reports from him, but I do see a pack just ahead of him. It looks like Robert Brev's trying to get really close on Mr. Moonpie, Sean Johnson there, and they're running up on Jackson Samsel. Jackson is actually up 2 positions around them, so Jackson is making up a ton of ground. Jackson Samsel in that 57 Geico machine, he is an unsung road course king, really. He hasn't quite won one. He has not won a race here in Backmarkers Racing League yet. However, he has shown incredible prowess on these road courses. He's definitely shown that he has a pretty decent grasp on it, even if he does fall a little bit behind. We see a good battle here between him and the 32. The 32 trying to make that ground back up off of the 57, making a slight mistake there, getting a little loose. But he, like I'm trying to say, he's just very, very talented. By the end of this thing, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in just outside of the top 5. He always manages to find a way to sneak his way up.
Yeah, another one that I was kind of watching earlier, but it looks like it kind of fell back there. It seemed to be Mr. Samuel Stoner in the number 16. He seemed to be catching up to Cofield there for a little bit, but looks like there's about a second and a half gap now. So maybe, you know, he was just trying to get a little bit of ground on him and just wasn't able to keep up with it.
Unfortunately, that's the downfall of a road course for a lot of guys. Is in oval, at least, you generally can kind of give it a lot more. You can give it a harder push a lot of the time. You can kind of send it a little bit extra and try to recover on, you know, entry exit, just making little changes here and there to try to make some big changes, to make some big progress. But in this race, you really can't quite do that. You're kind of stuck on a minute plus long track with a lot of changing directions, changing tides. Your best bet is to hit as best consistency as you possibly can while trying to make some small improvements, and hope that the person in front of you is going to start falling off. Looks like Jackson Samsel was beaten back by Sean Johnson.
Jackson just got off. Jackson just got off the track. Jackson hit the wall there. He has some damage on his driver's side. He's back on the road.
Yes, he does. I must have happened around the time he was fighting for position. Robert Brobst and Sean Johnson there. Again, you try to fight a little too hard. Might have just been enough to send him kind of spinning out there. He has lost position. He is back to normal. The only position changes we have are 2nd through 6th. Evan Pienta is up 2 positions. Jonathan Cofield is down 1. Samuel Stoner is down 1. Johnny Rapp is up 1 position. And Michael Boyles is down 1 position. And I don't think many of you, if you've been around and watched road courses, you watched the Watkins Glen race earlier this season, you already know that that pairing back there, Johnny Rapp and Michael Boyles, is about as competitive as it'll probably get here tonight. I mean, we saw some incredible racing out of Michael Boyles. He's a podium contender pretty much most road courses, I believe. And, I mean, I'm trying to organize my thoughts here on this, but he was fighting for a podium position in that race earlier this season at Watkins Glen, and unfortunately he ended up getting into quite a battle with Johnny Rapp, and it ended up taking away his podium spot. So you can imagine he's probably looking for a little bit of revenge there.
Yeah, and it looks like Jackson stayed out on the track, so I think he's just going to try to endure into this competition caution. It also looks like Evan and Jonathan are making up some ground here on Dustin Bawley on his 1st place position. I was seeing a couple laps ago, Evan was at 0.9 seconds behind Dustin, and now he's gained about 0.2 of a second, and maybe even a little bit closer right now.
Excellent stuff. I want to take a second here to see if we can get a little bit of a report on some of the stuff that we've seen from Blake Hoppy and Jackson Samsel. Maybe provide some context to what's going on. We throw over to our pit reporter, Adam Boyles, who's sitting sidelines right now. See if we can get him on the comms here and give us a little update. Adam?
Yeah, so obviously they had a couple of struggles. Blake Hoppy, you know, he spent out twice, but you know, obviously, you have a competition caution here soon, so hopefully he can rebound then. It's looking like nobody's coming in right now. I'd probably say next 3-4 laps, we'll probably see some people come in and try to change the way the race is going so far.
Real quick, it looks like Jonathan Cofield took back that 2nd place position from Evan.
Yes, he has. He has run it back down. All right, thank you very much, Adam. And yeah, as he said, we are coming up on that competition caution very soon, within the next 5 laps here. So we're going to see some interesting things come to shake out. If I had to make a guess, and this is my early prediction based on how they performed at other races, I would have to say, I believe Off the Wall and Payday will likely be pitting within the next 2 or 3 laps. Or right at, I think, lap 13, that would be. They will probably be going down pit road. I could be thinking of the wrong lap, but I'm trying to think of when the pits will close. I think that's closing 13 to 14. If that's the case, I'll amend it. I think they're going to pit on lap 12. Lap 12 coming to lap 13. We will see Payday and Off the Wall pit. That is my early guess.
Well, while you were talking there, Evan fell back about a second. He lost a little bit of control on this. I think it was this lap on that straight front stretch going right into the caution, coming out of turn. I think that's turn 10 there. He got a little loose, but he didn't obviously hit the wall or anything. So he's still in third place as of right now, and he has about a 2-second gap ahead of him, or I'm sorry, behind him, which is Samuel Stoner.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here at Michael Boyles as well. He's fallen 3 positions. It looks like he had an off-track incident, and he managed to come back on track. He had another one just shortly after, and he's now trying to make up some ground here. If anybody's going to benefit from that competition caution, it's definitely going to be him at this point. He's got some ground to make up, as he is currently sitting almost 10 seconds behind teammate Peter Stewart. The rest of this lineup, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been had your eyes glued to the ticker, the timing tower, it has not really changed. It has been a lot of the same kind of thing. And that's, like we said with the road courses, these guys, they're highly precise, they're highly tuned sim athletes here. They're very, very good at what they do. And for us to see this, for us to see very minimal change between positions, or to see guys lose position and then be able to gain it back relatively quickly, is kind of par for the course for what we expect to see in these truck races. That's just how incredible these guys run. And we're taking a look here. I want to pay attention to that gap from second to first. Jonathan Cofield on Dustin Bally. Kind of taking a look at it. It is very much decreasing at intervals of the track, and he is gaining on him quite fast here. But there are just other portions where Jonathan ends up getting a little bit loose on a drive off, like we just saw, and is not able to get as much traction, whereas that exit might have actually ended up helping a lot. Oh, Robert Brobst, Jackson Samsel have both pitted. They've elected to pit here. If they're pitting now, I can only imagine our leaders are set to pit here. So this is Jonathan Cofield probably trying to make a last-ditch effort to get ahead so that he can have better position coming out of that competition caution at this point. Oh, Dustin slides a bit there, but he's able to drive it off, and they're not going to pit.
Yeah, and Jonathan just closed that gap by another 10th.
Wow, I definitely would have presumed that they were pitting there at the end of lap 12. Oh, and he's already looking. You can see the front of that Cofield machine. That Cofield asphalt machine trying desperately, that Chevy. Just peeking around, looking around the sides of that Sega Saturn Toyota, trying to make his move. But there are just certain points, as we just saw this on the last lap. This is the same portion where Dustin put time on Cofield. He is just a lot stronger in that section than Cofield is. But very quickly here, you're going to watch Jonathan make up a lot of time and a lot of ground on that 21. And I'd imagine they have to be looking to pit here at this point. We're about to find out. And there goes Dustin Bally. He's down, and Jonathan's going to stick it out, actually. Evan Pienta now passing. Jonathan Cofield staying out. Sam Stoner heading out as well. Johnny Rapp Ooh, he mounted the curb a bit there, but he's staying out as well. Peter Stewart also sticking
Staying
out
out.
here. Michael Boyles is
Wonder if
coming up
Steve's
now.
gonna. Michael stayed out.
Sean Johnson staying out as well. And Steve Loving is already back 46 seconds. I believe he just pitted this previous lap. So I don't expect to see him coming in here. Yes, he already pitted.
Yeah, he did.
Dustin pitted at the end of his lap, but Steve pitted on lap 13 there. So very interesting.
It looks like Jackson Samsel may have hit it too, and we just didn't catch it because it looks like his damages are repaired on his truck now.
Jackson Samsel did pit. We did. It was him and Robert Brobst pitted at lap. I have this. Lap 12. They pitted. And we are currently now looking at some very shook up times. Jonathan Cofield, Sam Stoner, Evan Pienta way out in front.
Jonathan's still staying out.
Well, he's just going to go ahead and pit at the caution then, the competition caution. I have to wonder, is this good strategy here?
Sam Stoner just overtook Evan, it looks like.
Yeah, he did. We just had that live broadcast there as he made the overtake. Looks like Evan's having a little bit of harder time trying to hold this thing down. He definitely is probably looking to get to that pit there and get a little extra fuel and get some of them new tires so he can drive this thing better off the corners. But we should be very shortly here. I believe we are about to throw that competition caution. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think since the pit's just closed, I think it's this coming lap
This
15.
Yep, lap 15. That is correct. They will be throwing a competition caution, a stage break, if you will, at lap 15, going into lap 16 when Jonathan Cofield crosses turn 9. As he enters turn 9, the caution will be thrown, and everybody will then begin to find their slowdown and regain behind the pace car. And this is all done with the effort of making sure we don't have a really long pace lap of guys trying to catch up to that pace car. You're welcome, everybody at home. Here it is now. It should be throwing. No? Oh, there it is, yes.
Yep, there it is.
Looks like he got it thrown. Hopefully Cofield isn't beating the pace car out of pit road. He isn't. Good job.
I just
there we
heard
go.
the pace car, so.
And it is on the way out, and perfect. It lined up perfectly, ladies and gentlemen. We are brilliant people here in the Backmarkers Racing League. Big shout out to our race control guys who organized that to make it work a lot better. Johnny Rapp now coming to catch up. He's still sitting there in fourth behind his teammate of Johnny Rapp. And we will be heading into pit road. Will it be this time around? Will pit road open as they're coming up on it, or will it be another lap?
That I am unsure. I don't know if that was talked about or not.
I believe they should be fine.
Okay.
They should be going this time by.
Good. I was hoping it wouldn't be go around one more time. That's you don't want to waste those laps for sure. But we will be heading down to our pit reporter in just a moment once people start heading down pit road. Get an idea of what that's looking like and how things are shaking up. But first, I want to once again give a big thank you to our race sponsor, Tim Hortons, for the Tim Horton Maple Dip 150 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Tim Hortons is proud to be Canada's largest restaurant chain, serving over 5 million cups of coffee every day. More than a coffee and bake shop, Tim Hortons is part of the fabric of Canada and a proud symbol of Canada and its values. Visit a Tim Hortons near you today. Go ahead and search them up and see where they're at, and tell them we sent you. They won't know what that means, but tell them we sent you and ask for Timbits. Also want to give a big thank you to our series sponsor, SLiDESIGNS. SLiDESIGNS, with over 20 years of professional experience and unique designs that meet NASCAR official standards, look no further than SLiDESIGNS for your iRacing livery needs. Visit SLiDESIGNS _ on Instagram today and reference Backmarkers for 10% off. That's SLiDESIGNS _ on Instagram. Go show Steve Loving some love and support. He poured some money into this league this season and really helped us launch this truck series. So Big thank you to Steve. Everybody's heading in now. We're going to watch as everybody's heading down. Sam Stoner, Johnny Rapp, Peter Stewart, and this is going to be big for Off the Wall. Those Toyotas are now shuffling their way to the front. And it will be Dustin Bally, Steve Loving starting 1-2. And at this point, Brian Brobst is coming in. Robert Brobst's going to stick it out, as will Jackson Samsel. They are on fresh. They do not need this pit here, so they're going to go up ahead and get themselves some third and fourth out of this thing, as they're looking to really beat Jonathan Cofield out of the pits, and they will. Let's see if we can get some updates on here on some of the pit shenanigans and how these strategies have shaken out and how we got to this point from our pit reporter, Adam Boyles. Adam.
All right, so like we saw before, a lot of guys came in right before the stage end. So they're going to, start probably top 3, top 4. But the thing about it is the people who just pit will have fresher tires. I believe tires are wearing a lot. As you can see in, Evan Pienta, he went backwards a little bit because, he got a little loose on him. But everyone took, 4 tires, some fuel, and I think everyone will be set for the end of the race.
All right, thank you, Adam. Well, Anthony, I'm telling you, this thing's shaping up to be pretty interesting. Man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, let's take a moment here and just kind of recollect a little bit and see where things go, as I believe we should be going green this time by. Want to talk to some of you guys in chat here. Who are you guys rooting for out there? I see Jay Bast has already staked his claim. He's not here tonight. We miss you, buddy. We miss our road course goblin getting out here and tearing people down. So a little off the wall love from Jay Bast. Like seeing his teammates up front right now. Adam Boyles, of course, owner of Impact Racing, giving huge love to his guys. His brother Michael Boyles and the rest of his team, Peter Stewart and Jackson Samsel. Jackson Samsel up to 5th now as a result of his pit strategy there. And we are still going to go one more lap around caution. It will be green this time by. The pace car will be going in. So just at that point, it'll be 20 laps to go. And we will get moving. But if you are in chat, please, by all means, let's see who you guys are voting for. Let's see who you guys want to see win this thing.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting, though, seeing new tires and old tires. It's going to be exciting. Just get some popcorn, get something to eat. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's a really important factor. The 5 and 57 are on the older tires, the oldest tires here in general, as Dustin and Steve kind of took it easy coming out of that, off of their pit. They really didn't have to fight. They weren't going to be lapped or anything, so... their tires are pretty on par with everybody behind them in the field. Really, we're looking at that 5 and the 57 to see, are they going to end up spinning their tires on the restart? Are they going to immediately get overtaken in the first turn? Their tires are, at this point, are at least 3 or 4 laps older than most. Jacob Bradley giving a huge shout out to his team, Payday Racing. He is liking what he's seeing from Jonathan Cofield, Johnny Rapp, and Evan Pienta. Jacob, we miss you, buddy. Hope you can get your internet problems sorted out soon and get back in here. We definitely miss seeing that 50 car riding up front and talking about who's going to beat him this week. And here they come now. Pace car heading off. And things are about to get interesting here as we are coming to the line. And there goes the restart. Dustin Bally dropping down. He's going to slide in front of Steve Loving early here.
Steve Loving right behind him.
And we're going to jump back through this field, see exactly what's happening.
There.
And it looks like mostly everybody's hanging on to it. Oh, no! And it's the two pitted cars. Robert Brobst, Jackson Samsel. The two cars we were talking about with tire wear. They collide there. We're going to have to go back and see, but we got to see how this shakes out. Things are still pretty stacked up in a line here. Anything could happen.
Oh, yeah. What it looks like happened was Robert was trying to come in on that turn, and Jackson was just staying straight, so Robert came in on him. It's what it looks like. I could be incorrect on that, but...
The 58 tapping the back of the 27. Steve is just not moving fast enough for Jonathan Cofield. Cofield is ready to get around him. Steve not necessarily out there throwing blocks, just holding his line. And it's kind of the line Jonathan wants to be taking here, so Jonathan's going to just have to look for that spot and get around him.
Well, it looks like Jackson Samsel got towed to the pits here. Mr. Robert Brops is still out here driving. Let's see if he's going to go in the pits or if he's going to stay out.
Steve! Steve got real loose there and he jumped out of the way. And now Jonathan Cofield's going to overtake. He jumps back in line in front of Evan Pienta, holding things up a bit there, making sure he inserts himself back. He does not want to get strung out of that pack there. And Dustin Bally is driving away with it here. Jonathan Cofield, don't count him out. He'll still have time to make him up.
Robert is staying out on the track, despite having the side damage on his driver's side.
Well, he might be okay, actually. It might, if his steering's all right and his tires are feeling okay, might be able to make up that time. We'll have to pay close attention, see exactly what's happening there. We're going to go back now. Just before things might get hairy, I'm going to wait just a moment. I see the 55 approaching the 27, getting real close on him. Oh, the 55 gets loose. And that's going to be my cue to jump back real quick, and let's see what happened here. With Jackson Samsel, this is after the wreck. We need to go back here. And let's see if we can get an overhead view of what exactly happened here. Jackson diving it down. Oh, and he just completely clips the left rear and turns the 5 of Robert Probst, and that's it. It's really unfortunate for both guys in that scenario. We return live, and things are pretty much the same here. Steve Loving is now up 4 positions on the night, and he is trying to hold off a very hungry 55 of Evan Pienta. Tyler DeTalent, usual broadcast partner, is in chat, says his support. Evan's gone.
And he just went to the wall.
That's really not good there. No, he took a lot of left front damage on that. And that's gonna send Steve Loving way out there. And Evan's gonna have to just drive on that at this point, but ooh, and you see Sam Stoner, he corrected himself rather to get out of getting in behind the 27.
Steve, it looked like.
As I said, Tyler DeTalent giving his support for Blake Hoppy, who is currently sitting. He's up 4 positions, so he's made some huge recovery off the way his race started. He is sitting in 9th, holding down a top 10 and making some progress on the guys ahead of him. But man, yeah, this race right here, trying to get that podium spot, it's everybody trying to gang up on the 27, and it is a fight.
Yeah, 27's doing a good job holding these guys off right now.
And he's not even throwing any kind of crazy blocks. He's not jumping in front of anybody. He's just holding a really strong racing line, and it's the preferred line of pretty much everybody behind him too. And this track, I mean, if you're going to pass, you're pretty much in a position of, well, I might overshoot my turn, or I might lose something here if I try to make the pass here. I'm going to have to look for very specific locations to do so. And I think we might be getting a pit report from pit road here. Jackson Samsel checked out of the infield care center. Adam Boyles is with him now.
Yep, I'm here at the infield care center. Jackson, are you all right?
Emotionally, no. Physically, yes.
Yeah, what happened?
From my point of view, I'm actually watching the replay right now, but I was trying to make a move on Robert because we had both stayed out of the pits, and I was hoping that I could catch him off guard and then hold him off, but he kind of just turned in on me, it felt. And we both went for a spin. I got the car straightened out and tried to keep on going. I had already used my fast repair prior, and I went up into the double right-hand corner, and the engine just gave out.
Sorry about that, but hey, at least you have top 13 in points, so still not a bad finish.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know how much I agree with not a bad finish with it having been kind of dead last there, but I mean, that is, it definitely could have been worse for him. I guess if there were a lot more people that ended up showing up here tonight, but good effort from Jackson. He was having a pretty good run, just really unfortunate way things played out because he was in a really good position on a restart there, so let's see.
Well, it looks
here.
like Steve has a little bit of a lead now in that third place position. As that interview was happening, it looked like Sam Stoner got a little loose at a couple points, but he may be getting back up on him, as I was just now saying that.
Yeah, he's right on him again. Sam Stoner has really closed the gap. He is phenomenal here tonight. That 16 has been running real hard. Nathan Gentry got to be a happy guy watching this stream right now. And just behind him, Michael Boyles has climbed his way into a top 5. It is he is actually dead even for where he qualified from, so he is neutral on position here tonight. And Johnny Rapp is trying to find if he can make another pass on Michael Boyles, but man, I don't think that 05 wants to let that 52 by, not again on a road course. Looking at this battle from the lead, Dustin Bawley is really holding just a really strong line here, as we normally see him do, but Jonathan Cofield, once again, it's a matter of watching where he makes up time on Dustin, where he's better on the track, and then watching the point where Dustin puts the gap back on them and drives away. And it seems like it's kind of been a tug of war back and forth between them, for Jonathan to reel him in, to get right up on him, and then Dustin to just drive completely away from him, and Jonathan to have to restart doing all of that work all over again.
Yeah, it looks like throughout each lap, like you said, it's been back and forth, but it seems like it's been about pretty much even as far as, the time that goes by the time that they get back to that start-finish line. Actually, this lap, there was about 2 thousandths of a second that Jonathan Cofield lost compared to the last lap. But, it's still holding strong with him there, so...
Oh, man.
It's only a matter of time to see if, Dustin can hold out to the end and keep that first place position, or is his tires going to give out and will Cofield end up taking that place from him?
And Sam Stoner is back hot on the tail of the 27.
Yeah,
about
right
touching him, and
he's
that's
making
going to be it.
Making a move.
He has made the move. This is going to be an overtake. It's got to be, right? Oh, they're going to be side by side heading down this front.
Side by side right now. That's.
But I think Stoner is on
Steve's
the preferred
back.
position, but Steve has the advantage off of the straightaway.
Yeah.
And he's going to keep it, but Sam is going to lose some position here.
Michael Boyles got in front of Sam there, it looks like.
And that was the position Michael Boyles needed. He's sitting in the catbird seat, but they are still fighting back here.
Man, this is... And right behind him, you got Johnny Rapp, too, coming in hot.
Yeah,
so.
Johnny Rapp was really trying not to let Sam Stoner back into position there, but Sam really managed to drive his way back to it, fall back in line. This is just more of a scenario of not being able to pass that 27 car. Will the 05 be up to it? We're going to have to see here real soon. Another interesting report here we got is Sean Johnson is up 2 positions right now. He's been in a fight with Peter Stewart, and he is trying to gain right now on Johnny Rapp, trying to get himself up into that top 5 picture. We're going to have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, most definitely. It looks like Jonathan Cofield lost a couple tenths of a second, so as of right now, Dustin Bawley's still holding out strong.
It looks like there's the potential here, if I'm hearing reports right, that it might be a case of Jonathan Cofield and and Dustin Bally even trying to save tires at different points of the track. That's got them where they are. And once again, we see it, the 58 really reels him in, the 21 pulls away a bit. I imagine that Cofield will get a lot more aggressive here.
Oh, look at that. Looks like Sam Stoner's getting back that position from Michael Boyles.
Oh, he's trying to.
I spoke too soon. It looked like
he's trying to do a crossover. There we go. He's going to get it right here. Sam Stoner, Blake, and sorry, I saw a report on Blake Hoppy moving up a position there. As Sam Stoner makes the move on Michael Boyles. And Michael Boyles, we're going to have to watch to see if he's going to try to get that thing back or not. He's got a little bit of a ways behind him on that 16. And the 27 is still trying to hold down that podium position. He's feeling the pressure of having only 2 of his cars on his team competing here tonight. Not to mention, Steve Loving is currently... he's up there in points at this point. Is he second or is he third at this point? I'm not sure. I believe our current points leader is Mike Kostick, who isn't here tonight.
I am unable to check those to tell you, but
there's a huge gap between Jonathan Cofield and Dustin Bally. Jonathan Cofield went off track. Now.
Yeah, it looks like he has a little bit of damage on it. Oh,
it was during a fight. We completely missed. Oh, it was unfortunate. There's so many fights going on.
Man, see what happened here.
Looks like the 58 was really trying to send it in. Oh, he dives down low trying to get out of the way of it. It looked like he oversent it trying to do it, trying to get around him. And that was enough.
Yeah, he hit the curb and then...
and he takes left front damage.
That was rough.
That's going to be a really big hamper on his race. This is Dustin Bally's race to lose. As said, there are 12 laps to go. It is a lot of racing still left going on here. There's still time for Jonathan Cofield to show what he's capable of and drive that machine up. But as we're speaking,
it looks
Steve
like
Loving is approaching.
Yeah, and Sam Stoner is right on his tail again.
Oh, and he's already diving to the outside. He's really showing that aggressive nature. And a crossover, exactly as he would have wanted to do. That's going to be a good position, but is Steve going to be able to hold out here? He's in a good line. He's also on this outside, but this... Oh,
it looks like Steve's...
And he's going to pinch him for room. And they're going to come right to the finish line there. And Sam Stoner is going to overtake him just past the start-finish line. Steve Loving was not just giving it to him, though. Not at all. Now we're going to have to see if the 27 will be able to catch back up to the 16 here and make a move, or whether the 05 is going to come in on him here and already make a pass. But I see Johnny Rapp is just scheming around the back of that 05 impact machine.
Yeah, I think the reason why Sam was able to get around Steve like that too, and Michael Boyles there, was because he didn't pit into that competition, and I believe Mr. Michael Boyles and Steve Loving both pitted before that competition.
Yes. Oh, wow. Johnny Rapp fishtailed there in the corner. He got way too loose. He just lost a ton of time on Michael Boyles. Yeah. He's really going to have to scratch and claw to climb that back up, or he's going to have to gun it here into some interesting areas. Steve Loving is going to... Seems like he's still got a pretty... I mean, Sam Stoner's just putting a gap on him, is the easy way to say that.
Yeah.
Trying to look at Jonathan Cofield. I don't quite see whether he's making up any time. We'll probably have to go about one more lap to see if he's making up any time here or whether he's losing anything.
It looks like he gained about a second, as you were saying that, from what I could tell. So, from his last lap anyway. He's still 4.2 seconds behind. It looked like he was 5.1 earlier.
Also had a report that Robert Brobst crashed a short while ago, about, I believe, a lap and a half ago or 2 laps ago. Evan Pienta going off track again. I'm seeing as well. He's definitely feeling the effects of that damage. He's very loose heading around corners.
Yeah, it looks like his left front tire there may be off camber or something.
Well, if he ends up being in this bad a position, he could be within striking distance of the 23 of Blake Hoppy, and see him climb another position to be up +4 on the night. John Johnson and Peter Stewart still back to back here, but Peter has caught up behind Michael Boyles. As
Sam
Johnny
Stoner
Rapp
has a
did get
big
around.
lead right now on Steve Loving.
Yes, indeed,
Looks
Johnny
like Sam
Rapp.
Stoner may be catching up on Jonathan Cofield.
It appears Michael Boyles went off track. From what I can see. Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He was trying to pass the 27 and he caught the curb. That is really unfortunate for him. That definitely sets him back a good bit. And I wonder what kind of damage that does to the car at this point, or the tires. Jonathan Cofield is definitely making up time here.
Yeah, it looks like he gained about maybe another second. I didn't see what the time was. Sam Stoner, on the other hand, definitely gained another second, so he's making up a lot of time. So we may see him trying to battle with Jonathan Cofield here shortly.
Let's see if we can queue up our pit reporter here, get a little insight into Michael Boyles losing those positions. He was trying to get around Steve Loving for 4th, and see if we can get a little bit better understanding. Adam?
Yeah, those curves, let's just say they're atrocious. All right, you don't want to hit those. You know, F1 designed some curves that, if they're called sausage curves, if you hit them, you're gonna go up in the air, and they're designed to affect you. And you saw from him and I believe Cofield, when they hit it, they lost a ton of time because they got loose and hit the wall. So you definitely want to avoid those. But Cofield and I don't think Michael's making up time, but Cofield is making up time. He's about 2 seconds faster than he was before. So keep a look on that.
All right, thank you, Adam. Yeah, very much so. Some interesting things shaking out for the end of this race. Like I said, it's Dustin's to lose, but we don't count out Cofield. I mean, this car might have some damage, but if he can drive it, he's probably still going to drive it very well. I wouldn't anticipate seeing him losing a lot of position, but he very well might be contending for that win again. There's still 8 laps to go. That's still a lot of time for anything to happen here. Jumping around the pack here a little bit. Seeing that Peter Stewart really has gained a lot on his teammate Michael Boyles there. Peter Stewart, of course, want to shout out our featured Canadian. I believe he's the only Canadian running in the truck series, at least here tonight. And he is proudly showing it off on that truck. And as we're taking a look here, it looks like Steve is still trying to maintain that gap on Johnny Rapp. Johnny Rapp just hasn't quite closed the deal on him yet. What do you think it's going to take for that 52 to get up there? Do you think he's making the moves right now that are going to be enough with 7 laps to go to catch the 27 by the end of this thing?
Well, I think both drivers are, dealing with some older tires. I think Steve's doing a good job kind of holding off and maintaining that distance there. So the only way I feel like Johnny Rapp may be able to get around him is if Steve makes one little mistake, as far as I could tell, that gap hasn't been increasing by much over the last few laps.
Well, not increasing, not decreasing. It definitely leaves room for the improvement. The 52 is he once again gets really loose there. That's what we're seeing a lot of. I'm wondering if there is just damage at this point, the damage we're seeing on the side of his car, that's causing a little bit of that inability, or maybe he has some tire wear off of it, or if that's just regular tire wear causing him to lose it there, because that's about where he ends up putting the gap back between himself and 4th.
Yeah, and I'm going back and looking at Dustin and Jonathan Cofield, and it looks like Jonathan is right under 3 seconds again behind Dustin. He was just over 3 seconds about 2 laps ago. So it seems like about every 2 laps he's gaining about a second on Dustin here.
And Sam Stoner's also doing some. Yeah, we actually we got a report coming in.
Yeah, sorry. At this rate, it's gonna be really close. I think I can get up to him in the next 3-4 laps. So just keep a lookout on that.
Absolutely, we're gonna keep looking at him here. Looking at Sam Stoner though, as I was kind of looking, he's kind of hovering at about 8.2 seconds behind. He loses some in some places and then gains right back up to that place. I'm kind of curious as to whether he is chopping off a lot of time on Cofield, but the problem is that's really hard to tell because his time is staying relatively the same to Cofield and his gap, but Cofield's gap to Bali is dropping drastically. So it looks like Sam Stoner is putting some time down. It's just not a lot of time difference between where he's catching up on Jonathan Cofield, so to speak, from what I can tell.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, he did seem to be gaining some time there, and then I guess Cofield just found that rhythm again. And I heard something about wreck that's in a turn 1.
Oh yes, Robert Probst,
I think. Yeah,
we saw some smoke there. That just gave Jonathan Cofield a really huge window. He was sub 2 seconds. Now he's almost down to a second of a gap with 5 laps to go here. I mean, unless Dustin was just completely saving tires and is about to just try to start driving away, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to wonder if Cofield's burning his stuff up trying to catch him here.
Yeah.
However, if there's one thing I've learned about these payday racing guys, it's that it doesn't matter if they burn it up. They somehow find a way to drive it like they just got it. We saw some phenomenal stuff like that already this season. We saw Daytona.
Real
Jacob
quick, we were talking
Bradley.
about Johnny.
Yeah.
I apologize. We were talking about Johnny Rapp and Steve Loving. It looks like Steve has a 4-second gap on Johnny Rapp there. So I guess Johnny got loose at one point. And, you know, that gave Steve a little bit of that cushion behind him. So
Might give Michael Boyles a chance to do some catch-up. Jonathan Cofield is now right on Dustin Bali's tail.
Yep. And it looks like Robert may be getting passed up here shortly as well.
He's definitely going to want to find himself to the side here because this is going to get really hairy. And he does not want to be
Yes,
the guy
it
that
is.
causes a pass. We're going to have our eyes glued to this front battle because Jonathan Cofield, we said don't count him out. There was a reason. He is back. And he's better than ever. Somehow, Jonathan Cofield has returned.
Yeah, and he's gaining fast
Oh!
right now.
He's on the inside. He was really close there. Dustin shutting that door
was.
as quick as he can. Dustin cutting real deep. Robert getting out of the way.
Yep.
As you want to see from the lap car at that point, Robert was trying to hold what he could. There it is. Jonathan is sending it.
It looks
He
like Dustin
doesn't
got a
have
little
it.
loose, and that's why
No.
Jonathan was able to get there.
He might have it here. Dustin is just holding him off. That was dangerously close for Dustin Bali. Jonathan Cofield just sent him the biggest challenge he's had since midway through this race at this point.
And is he going to get it off just straight away, or?
I imagine
nope.
what we're going to see here, especially with the way he's closed this gap. 3 laps to go. He's going to be looking to perform that crossover that we've seen a lot of guys do to big success here so far. Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
and it
Johnny
looks like
Rapp. Johnny Rapp went off track at some point. Sean Johnson and Peter Stewart have found their way around him. And Johnny Rapp has dropped back to P8 at this point. Big blink from the 58 there. Another big blink from the 58.
Yeah. And it looks like Sam Stoner gained 3 seconds. as
Sam
well,
Stoner,
so-
yeah, Sam Stoner's up roughly 4 seconds on these leaders. That's very impressive.
Steve Loving with the 10-second gap behind him, so I think he's pretty much settled in unless something happens.
Steve Loving just going to try to bring home the best position he can here. He is not super optimistic going into most road courses, so he's got to be very pleased with how things have turned out for him so far, especially with how long he was holding that P3 for as long as he ended up holding it. Oh man, this is just really nail-biting to watch, because
Yeah, it is.
these two guys, you're just looking at two really incredible road racers putting down some incredible laps, trying to
With 2 laps
one
to
trying
go.
to fend the other off while the other is hungry to get him. And yeah, as you said, 2 laps to go. When they come around, this will be the white
Justin got
flag.
loose there.
He got loose, but he still managed to drive it off just fine.
Yeah. He gained 1/10 of a second on Jonathan as of right now, so.
Oh man, is this intense. This is the kind of racing you love to see right here, especially as we're watching the 16. He keeps appearing in the back of the camera here right before turns cut. You know he is coming up, and he very well could be a player here. Oh, Cofield hits the curb.
It looks like holding it strong, though. It doesn't look like it. There may be a slight bit of a time gap now.
Just a little bit, but that might be enough that Dustin might be able to get a little bit around him. This might have been the lap Cofield wanted to put put the position on him.
And just seeing Sam Stoner back there, it looks like he's gaining time by the second on these guys.
Man, I gotta imagine it looks like Cofield is really driving like he's a mad dog. He is, I mean, he's driving
trying.
very aggressive.
He is very. And as we come up on the last lap, man, Sam Stoner gained a second on that lap there.
It's really impressive to watch how this happens. I mean, we saw guys mount those curbs earlier and hit them, and it just completely took them from one position back like 3. We see Jonathan Cofield, he hit it like he was slowed down a good bit. He was just in the right spot, and and it's this close. He was looking for the pass right there on the crossover that early. He wasn't quite able to get it. The gap is put down.
Justin was able to,
And all of this push, all of this craziness here, all of the fighting that's going down is giving a chance for Sam Stoner. Oh, he's very wide. Cofield goes very wide there. Oh man, and you see the 16 is so close behind them now.
Yes, he is. He was, like I said, he's been gaining speed on him these last few laps.
There's a big opportunity ahead. There's a very good chance he could take it. Cofield made a very costly error coming out of that turn. And this is going to be it. He's going to have to send it here. But it doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to do it. They're going to come to the line here. And Dustin Bali wins the Tim Hortons Maple Dip 150 for his 3rd Backmarkers Series win.
Then we had Jonathan Cofield, obviously, and Mr. Sam Stoner right after. Man, and Sam Stoner once again with another second game. If he would have had a couple extra laps, he could have got right up on there with them.
Steve Loving taking P4 and Michael Boyles driving away with P5 ahead of Johnny Rapp. He's got to feel kind of good about that at least. Sean Johnson, Peter Stewart, both bringing it up. That's an impact back to back there, or not back to, sorry, Jackson Samsel, I'm sorry. He's out. That's impact back and then Sean Johnson and then to back. Skip Mr. Moonpie there. Apologies, Mr. Adam. Johnny Rapp, then Evan Pienta. Blake Hoppy just gets his way across. He's up 3 positions of the night. He's tied for biggest mover with Steve Loving and Sean Johnson, 3 positions up. Brian Brobst, Robert Brobst, and Jackson Samsel. But Dustin Bali is your victor here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, picking up his 3rd Backmarkers Series win.
That was crazy to watch towards the end there. That was intense with Jonathan Cofield and Dustin Bali.
It was very incredible. And I mean, we can't understate here. Sam Stoner climbing up the ranks and almost catching them. That was just incredible to watch as it performed. Let's go ahead and start getting some of these guys in. As we get Dustin Bally ready, let's go ahead and pull in Sam Stoner, and we'll let you start talking to him, getting an interview. Hey, Sam, it's Rain and Anthony in the booth. You got us?
Hey, I do.
All right, get at him,
Sam,
Anthony.
that was a crazy race, dude. Especially towards the end there, man. You were catching up a good bit of time on Jonathan Codefield and Dustin Bally.
Yeah,
How do you feel about finishing on pole?
It's always a good day when you finally bring home a podium. It was not super easy. You know, I was definitely one of the faster guys out here all day, but it's still a challenge. You know, these are some strong competitors for sure.
Oh, for sure, definitely. You seem to know what you were doing, though. I mean, there was some good battles that you put on, and you know, like I said, you were putting on a good bit of time there. I think you didn't pit until the competition, the caution. Is that correct? And so you had a little bit of fresher tires than some of these other guys, and I think that's kind of helped with you putting more time on some people too.
Yeah, we definitely thought that was going to be the better choice there when we saw the other guys go in. We immediately knew we'd have a pretty good shot at catching them on older tires.
Yeah, that was, I said, that was a great race. You should, Rain and I up here in the booth, man. We were the last few laps, man. We were watching Dustin and Jonathan going at it, and then it was like every lap, it's like you were gaining a second on them, and I was like, man, if you had a couple more laps, you would be right up there with them. So,
so close.
When you saw the time, and not even the time, as you were driving those last two laps, and you saw yourself closing in, you saw the 58 rather, just ahead of you. I mean, did you think you might be able to catch them there, or did you think like, man, if I had one more lap?
It was definitely a 1-2 more lap situation. I knew when I was probably about 3 to go that even though I was gaining, I wasn't gonna have the time to catch them unless they made some serious mistakes. And those two, they don't really make mistakes like that.
No, absolutely. And speaking of mistakes, we saw a couple that led to you eventually finding your way around the 27 of Steve Loving to get to this P3 and hold it down. We saw Michael Boyle's attempt at a pass that ended up costing him, and we saw the same thing on Johnny Rapp, who couldn't quite get it done. And you were the outlier here. You're the only one able to get around him and cement your place. So I mean, overall, you're happy with your performance. Are you looking forward to next week?
Yeah. Gonna be good to be back on an oval. Turn right's fun, but you know, turn left's a little easier.
No, we will be at Darlington next week. Is there anybody you want to thank before we let you get out of here?
Oh, I got my parents, my uncle, my grandpa. They all watch these. It's my daughter's birthday today. She's 3, so happy birthday, Avery.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
It's good to bring home a podium on a day like today.
Let's get happy birthdays in chat. Come on.
You brought home third place, then you know can't be better whenever she's turning 3. So
that's actually perfect. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Sam. Go enjoy your win, man. We're gonna go drop you back off with you guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, I think we go ahead and pull up our P2 here. Let's go ahead and get Mr. Jonathan Cofield, Mr. Spotlight Hog. Hey, Jonathan, it's Rain and Anthony in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
When are you going to stop hogging the spotlight, man? When are you going to let somebody else get an interview?
I don't know. I'll try.
Man, Jonathan, it looked like you had a real good race tonight, dude. There was a couple of times it looked like, you had a couple incidents, but you gained that position back and that time back with Dustin. You and Dustin towards the end of that race there were putting up a really good fight, dude. I mean, how do you feel about finishing second? Like, how do you feel about this whole race?
Pretty good race. A little disappointed in myself. I was in the chat talking with him just now. I told him he had that right-hander. He had braked a little bit sooner than he had the previous lap, so it kind of threw me off. So I got on the brakes, and I had my brake bias down a little bit, so it kicked the truck sideways and, got in the grass and got in the tire barrier. But I think pitting at the caution was the way to go. I think I had way more tire than he did. But, I mean, I run him back down, with left front damage. But yeah, he run a good race, man. It was real fun there toward the end. They just wasn't nowhere to pass. I couldn't, I got beside him one time, and that was coming off the double apex there down the hill. He was spinning the tires a little bit, but I could run him down up the hill and get beside him, but he was on my inside, so he had to position every time going into the right-hander.
Yeah, it looked like, there was quite a few times where you may have had that, that pass on him, and there was a couple times in particular, Rain and I were up here watching, and it seemed like every time you would go and try to pass, your truck would get just a little loose to where you couldn't get past them, and either that or, it's like you got kind of squeezed there, but I mean, it's, like I said, it was a really good race with that, and then Mr. Sam Stoner, especially towards the end, I don't know if you realized, but he was catching up quite a bit those last few laps, and it was a great race between all of you guys out there today.
Yeah, I think Stoner, if he'd have got by 11 a little quicker, that I think he'd have run us down. He was real fast in that first run. I think he got a little loose in one corner, and we was able to pull away from him just a little bit. But when he was there with us, he was right there.
All right, man. Well, I mean, you definitely keep showing. I mean, it's only a matter of time before you're really up there in points at this point. Remind me, have you locked down a win yet this season in trucks?
Yes, I won last week at Bristol.
You did. That's right. Well, see, I didn't broadcast last week, so that doesn't count. No, I'm kidding, of course. That's right, you did. And that was your first win on the season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I did actually watch that broadcast as it was happening. It was dominating fashion. I think you were up like half the track, maybe almost like getting close to a full lap on second by 1 point by the end of that thing. So you definitely had an incredible run last week, and you come in here and you show your road racing skills and show what you're capable of out here again. Like we always like to say, you like to get your interview in, It's,
gotta get it.
Gotta get it, man. Anybody you want to thank out there? Anything you want to promote before we head you out?
Yeah, I want to thank Tim Horton's Maple Dip for sponsoring the Canadian Tire race we had here. I want to thank SLiDESIGNS, Steve Lovin, all he does for the league. You guys, it's good having you back in the booth. Get in here and do a little broadcasting for us. Big shout out to Dustin Bally. He drove his ass off. I have to bleep that out, but that's how I feel about it. Cofield's Flying Service, Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, my teammates at Payday, and just everybody for making this league as fun as it is. That's what I was talking to Dustin. That's probably the best. That's probably the most fun we've had in this league. Just running like that here in a while. So.
Man, absolutely. Well, it was a blast to watch. Hope you go back and check it out because you guys we were marking out up in here. But yeah, as you heard, CofieldLLC.com. Go check them out if you're in the need for stuff. Great guy, and I'm sure fantastic work. So thanks so much, Cofield, and we look forward to seeing what she can do next week at Darlington.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy.
All right, I think it's time. We got to get our winner in here. Let's go ahead and drag Dustin Bally for that long-awaited victory. He's finally got it. He finally cracks the code and gets his third win of his Backmarkers career and his first win in the Truck Series. Dustin Bally, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, man! What a race! I'm a little lost for words.
Man, you should have heard me and Rain up here in the booth towards the end of that race there. I mean, you put up one hell of a fight, dude. That was a good race between you and Cofield. Like Rain said, I mean, I'm sure you said you're speechless. I mean,
it is hard to put into words. It was, because we just talked to Cofield. It was the same thing. The fight between you two, it was hard to commentate because we were just so enamored with what was happening. We really didn't know what to say throughout. We just kind of wanted to watch. This has been one of the most exciting races we've had in quite some time. Did you have fun out there?
Oh my, yeah, I told Cofield this was, I mean, easily the most intense sim race I think I've ever had. Just because he, the qualifying lap I was able to pull off. I mean, my best qualifying or my best hot lap before the race, I think was like a 23.2, maybe a 1. So I managed to pull 2/10 out of my, out of the hat to get that 22.9. I mean, that kind of came out of nowhere. So I was thrilled about that. And then Cofield just had monster race pace. I mean, just crazy. I think he was probably taking it easy in that first stint. But you know, once I did the, you know, I figured you guys probably knew what I was going to do with the pit strategy. I was surprised to see him go in, but I think maybe he was watching what everyone else was doing and knew that he wasn't going to lose too many spots, because he came out in 5th, I think. So he, I think within a lap, had dispatched of the 3 guys ahead of him and was back to 2nd. But yeah, it was just a matter of like keeping him behind and, you know, trying to push a little bit, but not enough to heat the tires. And then, because I knew it was basically a 20-lap run from that stage break to the end. And then I got a little bit of a break when I think he went off. I don't know what the turn is. The long right-hander. He went off a little bit and lost 5 seconds. And I thought, okay, that's enough. And then I slowly started to watch that gap tick down. You know, and it was like 3 to 4/10 of a second a lap. He was absolutely flying, and then yeah, it caught me with like 3 to go, and I had to do it all over again. So yeah, just mentally, physically straining. I mean, it's a video game, but I mean, I'm like drenched in sweat down here. It's crazy. But you know what? I couldn't have done that, I think, with anyone else. I think Cofield's he's such a gentleman. He's so fast. He's so clean. All credit to him. You know, he's obviously, he was the faster car tonight. I just had the track position, and got lucky. But it was a thrill to race with him after being, you know, stuck far behind him at Bristol and in many of the other races this season. But it's just been, I mean, Rain, we've talked about it. The 3 races before Bristol were just absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, Watkins, I think, was a win that got away. Talladega, we were in it before we had that mishap on pit road, and then Dover, I had an equipment failure, and so it was just like, man, three punches in a row after starting out the season so good. So this was just absolutely needed, and I'm thrilled to pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, we, like you said, we talked about it obviously in team chats and kind of going over stuff and trying to see where we could make up some ground, and we really thought we had some good spots other times. And I mean, going into this race, we knew you'd be strong. Everybody, you know, we expect to see Dustin Bally probably having a really strong road race, and we knew Jonathan Cofield would be strong. I think a big surprise was Johnny Rapp and Evan Pienta having kind of a tough night, because those guys are also very, very good on road courses. And so when it was just you two kind of driving away with it, I mean, like I said, it just became such a thrill to watch, especially as Cofield had so much time he had to catch up on you. And not only did he put it down, catching up on you, to the point that he was on your bumper. I thought you guys might wreck at one point. So it was getting that intense.
Just that, I mean, it's just all credit to him. I mean, I think he knows what you have to do on these road courses, and basically put pressure on the guy in front and hope they make a mistake. And you know, that's what I would have done if I was in his spot. But I mean, we never had any contact, no 0Xs, nothing. He never had his truck in a spot that was going to spin me or anything like that. Just a total gentleman. He's great to race with, and we're lucky to have him in this league.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're heading to Darlington next week. I keep saying that, but then I have to double check because I feel like I'm incorrect. We are, in fact, heading to Darlington next week. You've made your feelings known about Darlington before, so why don't you just remind us how you feel going into it?
Well, I don't feel too bad. I think last season we qualified decent, ran up in the top 5 for first part of the race, and then I ended up blowing the motor. So that's on me. That hopefully will not happen this time. Yeah, hopefully a couple more guys show up. I mean, I don't mind. I think the 13 that we had show up here they're all stars. Obviously, I mean, they're all so good. But to get that back up to the 20 mark would be good. So if you're out there and you've run a truck race with us, please come back for Darlington. We'd love to have you. Plus, there'll be the throwback. Everyone gets to show their throwback paint scheme, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm not going to be nearly as fast as I was here. I think this and Watkins are the ones that I circle before the season and hope for a good result. And just after Watkins, it was just depression for days after because of what happened. Just what I thought slipped away. So to bounce back, I had that great duel at Road America with Tyler and Michael. I mean, that was another classic. That wasn't really long enough. I think this was kind of, the same type of race, but we had a little bit more laps and maybe we were able to enjoy it a little bit more. So maybe with those ARCA road races, we'll stretch them out a little bit and get this kind of action. But yeah, just just a lot of fun tonight. This was good.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, I'm really curious what would have happened if we had that 53 of Jay Bast on track here tonight, but I'm going to digress before we get into that conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not happy because this was one of the ones that he really wanted. Obviously, he was fighting for the lead also at Watkins, so I think he would have been right up there with me in Cofield. Stoner was like 8 seconds back, so for him to come back, we know he's fast. Stoner can put in hot laps like it's his thing, so I'm thrilled to see him on the podium. I think this might be the getting off the monkey off his back, right? We've had a lot of guys that just have been owed results and have finally gotten it. I think you look at Stoner, you look at Blake Hoppy winning the ARCA race, which he so richly deserved, and you know, Cofield being up there in points, and we've had the 2 winners with Pianta and Kostek. So all these guys who are really showing up this season. You know, there's a lot of bad luck and a lot of things happening kind of off the track, but yeah, I think we're in a good spot. So we'll enjoy this one as it is.
Absolutely, man. Anybody you want to thank? Anything you want to shout out before we?
Yes, I gotta give a bunch of shout outs. So sorry, I want to give a big shout out to Steve Loving, my teammate at Off the Wall Racing. So we called the strategy before the race. We came out of that stage break in first and second. He was able to hold Cofield up a little bit. I don't think it really affected the race too much, just because Cofield was so much faster and was able to close in on me 2 different times. But congrats to Steve on he held Sam's off for a little while, so we thought it was gonna be a third, but. Well, great 4th place for him. I want to give a big shout out to my wife Rebecca, who without her taking care of the kids and letting me do this, this wouldn't be here. So love you, babe. You're awesome. Give a shout out to my parents, Tom and Deb, who always tune in. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, John and Karen, who are here watching, and anyone else who's tuned in. Just thank you for the support. You guys make the league. Sorry, let's go down our list here. League sponsor SLiDESIGNS, Steve Loving, give him a second shout out. You guys, thank you, Anthony, for jumping in to help with the broadcast. Rain, obviously, it's a different atmosphere when it's you guys commentating versus just watching me drive around the track for 200 laps. It's not the most fun thing. So, yes, you're the reigning MVP. And then, I guess last but not least, Tim Hortons in Canada and Peter Stewart and anyone associated with Canada and doing this race here. So thanks again for everything tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Wayne Gretzky, Celine Dion. Big shout out to everything Canadian.
Justin Trudeau.
Well, Dustin, enjoy your night, man. Enjoy your win, and just go celebrate. You deserve it, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm gonna go crack a cold one. Thank you.
Go get them. All right, and now normally we look to interview a couple of guys. Nobody really had a super notable night. A lot of people either kind of lost position or only kind of stayed about where they were for the most part. But I think a really good interview here would be Sean Johnson. I believe that Sean being up 3 positions to finish just inside the top 10, getting past Brian Brobst, and then managing to hold down that spot is pretty big for him. So let's see. Sorry, did I misspeak there? Yeah, sorry, 6th. Oh my gosh. I read my tower all wrong for a second. He was 6th. He got around Peter Stewart, who he'd been battling for most of the race, and was closing in trying to catch Michael Boyles by the end there. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk to Sean here, and I'm going to let you take the reins on this again, because I'm clearly already out of it. Sean, it is Rain and Anthony in the booth. You got us?
What's up?
Mr. Moonpie, congratulations. You are tied 3 ways for our biggest mover of the night, being up 3 positions.
Yeah.
How you feeling after tonight's race?
Pretty good. I mean, my goal was just to kind of stay on track, lay down some decent laps, and I think I did that. You know, I don't have the pace at road courses to really be up competing for spots that much, but keeping it on track and just laying down consistent laps gave me a few positions, and it felt nice.
Yeah, well, like like you said and Rain said, you got those positions gained, and I mean, gaining positions is better than losing them, obviously, all the time. And it looked like you held a good, strong lap time the whole time you were racing, and you did pretty well from what I could tell. So
yeah. Good.
I guess, what was it like? I mean, you and Peter Stewart were pretty much racing this entire time. What was that like?
That definitely made me nervous. Peter was driving it a lot deeper into that 5A, 5B complex, a really tight right-handers right before the long straightaway, and then I was getting a better exit out of it. So he would catch up to me most of the way around the track, and then get really close going into those corners, and then I pull a good gap down the straightaway. And it was just a matter of when was he going to be close enough to really make the move on the inside.
Well, you definitely ended up. Oh yeah, sorry.
But that last lap, I knew he was close enough to make the move, and I just kind of exited that left-hander as far to the right as I could so that he couldn't send it up on the inside of me, because I knew he had the speed to pass me.
Well, it definitely worked out because you managed to hold him off. But I just gotta know, what did it feel like while you were sitting there, probably around 8th or 9th at that point, to watch first the 55 just meandering by as you just fly past him, and then the 52 of Johnny Rapp, and finding your way around those payday cars quite a few laps before the finish at that point?
I mean, it was nice to be picking up the spots without having to battle for them for guys that I do not have the pace to keep up with. I didn't ever really see what happened to them. I don't know if they got into it with another car or just ended up losing on their own. I hate that their races got kind of screwed up that way, but it was nice to have keeping it on track rewarded.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, most of the time, you guys are all pretty much strong drivers out here, but most of you guys probably the only time you're saying you beat a payday car was when they got junked out of the race and ended up either pitted or like 3 laps down. So to just best them, I mean, they still didn't even manage to catch up at that point. And like you said, these guys, they're way out of their class. Like, they're constantly like showing their skill and prowess. So that's why I wanted to bring it up in terms to you, man, because like it's such a big deal. You and Peter both managing to not only get those positions, but Johnny Rapp was catching on Peter Stewart there by the end of it, and you guys still managed to hold really consistent times to make sure that you got into these spots, and you're not far off of Michael Boyles from P5. So I mean, just another instance, like we said with Sam Stoner, just a few more laps, you might have been up there, maybe contending for a little bit more. But it's like you said, and we talked about it early in the broadcast, that consistency versus where somebody makes a mistake makes all the difference. Mm-hmm. Are you looking forward to Darlington next week?
Oh, for sure. Darlington is probably my favorite track on the service, and one of the ones that I'm actually really good at. So it's good to have a good finish going into it.
All right. Was there anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out before we let you get back to your group?
Well, I got to give a thanks to SLiDESIGNS for sponsoring this whole series. So I got to thank Steve for that.
Absolutely, man. Well, if that's all from you, we'll let you get back there and enjoy your P6. It was really hard fought and well deserved, man.
All right, thank you.
Well, just like that, we're wrapping things up here. Pretty easy to say. My throat is starting to get real tickly, and I'm kind of tired of talking. And it's been a very interesting one. It was hard not to get super elevated at the end. There's always the conversation of, oh hey, well your guy just won, and that's always cool. It's really nice to see. But for more so than that, it really came down to just how incredible that would have been if Cofield was passing him at that last second and getting that win. It'd have been just as elevated as an excited conversation that would have been had from between us, because of how incredibly hard fought it ended up being, that we had to watch the leaders by the end of this thing. Usually we watch these road courses, the leaders are way out ahead. I do want to give myself a little verbal spanking for a second, if I may, because I do believe I misremembered a race and a stat from earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and double check here for just a moment while I ask you overall, what was your opinions on the race? How do you think things went tonight?
Man, my opinion on the race, I thought things went very well. Minimal, accidents, it seemed like, it was really fought fought well between everyone, especially like I said, that towards the end with that first place position, and then Sam Stoner coming in real hot there at the end. I mean, it was just all around just a real good race with everyone.
Absolutely. And I do want to confirm, this is completely on me. I realized it after the fact because I'd completely forgotten he was in it. This is Dustin Bawley's 4th Backmarkers Series win. It's his first in the Truck Series. It's his second during this 2023 season, though, as he did win the Sega Forever 150 at Road America in ARCA. It just wasn't for points, so my brain put it out of the way as he was bushwhacking that. But Dustin Bawley won Road America and ARCA. He won here, Canadian Tire. So we're seeing, we already see the pattern of road courses so far this season for him. And then last season, of course, he almost won Daytona. Ended up going to Logan Monteith due to a very last lap destructive caution, of course, on a plate track. But Dustin did win Atlanta and Las Vegas in season 2 of ARCA. So he's definitely picking up some good wins. As we heard, Jonathan Cofield won last week at Bristol. He won, I believe, 3 or 4 races last season in ARCA, and he also has already won an ARCA race this season, I believe, as well. I have to double check that stat, but it's really hard because these guys just win so much. It's very hard to count.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping we see more of Sam Stoner out of this. Dumpster Fire Racing has come out of nowhere and really shown that they are a team to be contended with. The points leader, Mike Kostick, is a Dumpster Fire Racing driver. So aside from him, Devin Jack having a really, really strong showing 2 weeks ago, and picking up an insane finish. I mean, those drivers are all showing that they have come to play and they have come to win this thing. So I would not be surprised to see a lot more DFR cars either in the podium or in victory lane at this point this season. Well, as I said, it was a great race overall. A lot of fun was had here at the Tim Hortons Maple Dip 150 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park here. Week 7 of the SLiDESIGNS Backmarkers Truck Series. This is season 1, of course, and you are here on the Backmarkers Racing League channel. Anthony, thank you so much for joining me here and helping me alleviate me having to talk the entire time as I was dealing with my illness. Do you got anybody you want to thank? Anything you want to shout out before we let this thing go?
Just my friends and family as always, and Backmarkers Racing League, and the sponsors of both the ARCA and the Truck Series. We have GTCC for our ARCA, and then SLiDESIGNS for the trucks. So I appreciate both of them for sponsoring both of those league races.
Absolutely. Well, as well, like we said, thanks Tim Hortons for the sponsorship here tonight, as well as SLiDESIGNS as always. You can find more information about both of them down in the description below. Big thank you to Nathan and GTCC for sponsoring, as you said, the ARCA series. And also big thank you to Rescreened LLC Regional, who sponsors our late model tour. You want to watch some late model action, you just got to tune in on Monday. Monday night is late model day. Tuesday night is ARCA. Wednesday is currently open. And Thursday is trucks, and we have some really interesting stuff coming soon. So make sure you stick around and go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere where you can see the orange bee. That logo, that's us. So go follow us so you can get notified of any new exciting things that we have going on. We'll be announcing them all coming very soon. Once again, want to thank all of you for tuning in. Want to thank all the drivers who show up, and hopefully we can see a much bigger turnout than we saw here tonight. Get back up to about 20 plus cars. I think we will now that we're off a road course. But thanks to everybody who did show up and put on a great race here for the fans and for myself and Anthony here to be able to call. And once again, thank you to all of our sponsors. This has been Anthony Cangelosi and Rain Braun signing off here tonight, race fans, as we do tell you goodbye and good night.